Chris Angel way is I can float across buildings. You've seen me float from, into the sky on top of Luxor, and I can do anything, mind freak. So when people approach him, they're like, hey, can you do some of that right now? And he pulls out a deck of cards. Everybody's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's cool too. But I was expecting something bigger. Now, on the opposite pole of that, there's David Blaine. There's the David Blaine approach, which is completely the opposite way, which is I have zero jewelry, I have zero approach. I don't really have much of a personality. My personality is a giant question mark. I don't even know what I'm doing for you right now. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know anything, but let's go through this journey together. You don't even know what we're about to do.
Right.
And then he presents it in a mundane way, like what he's doing. It's not it's like an everyday thing for him. He's living in this world of magic, and he brings people in with him rather than I'm Chris Angel and you expect me to do the almighty. You expect me to move a building with my mind, but I can't do that. I'm sorry to disappoint you. So it's the other way around with David Blaine. So if I had anybody to relate my magic to, it'd have to be the David Blaine approach. Not so much David Blaine himself, because I have my own personality and my own character that I've developed.
Yeah, definitely. I like it.
The past 4 years. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely like the roots of my morals and where I'm going with this and what my goals are. I share this very close similarity with David Blaine.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. Now, who do you like Chris Angel? Or are you a fan of Chris Angel?
I see a few of his things, but look, the way I see it is he's bringing a whole new genre into Magic. So these are all these kids that are getting jazzed up, and they want to go to Illusionist, and they want to buy every single deck on the market, and they want to do that. So it's giving kids something to shoot for, which is cool. Like it's cool that he's expanding the Magic society. Do I like him? I wouldn't prefer him. I wouldn't sit down and watch him. But I'm not going to go out and say I don't like it. I hate Chris Angel. I don't like being compared to him. That's for one.
Yeah.
Because
you guys are
Chris
different.
Angel and myself were completely different.
Definitely.
Magic enthusiasts.
All right. So Chris, when doing Magic, what is your favorite effect that you like in the Magic field, or what's your favorite effect that you've done?
Let's see. Favorite effect. It fluctuates. I go through phases where I love this and I love that, and I do this a lot. Let's see. A very, very powerful one is, let's see, with cards, it would have to be Pixel by David Jade. I love Pixel because it's very, very in your face, extremely visual, and it's so simple. It's so straightforward, and I love Magic straightforward.
Yeah.
You'll never really see routines that involve 5 minutes straight talking. If anything, I simplify everything to the point where it's just my magic. A lot of magicians, they look down on me because of it. They say things like you need to have pattern because it guides them, it steers them for them to go the right way that you want them to go, and the effects hit harder. I think that's just one opinion, though.
Right. Yeah.
But for me, it's more like I present it in its raw form, and I let them pick it apart. And I don't say much. I just kind of keep it to myself. And I don't know. I've developed a character where that is my focus, is like leaving them with everything. So I would have to say, yeah, Pixel definitely is one. There's a few other ones. Ambitious, even though every card mechanic, every card magician, they do that routine. It doesn't take away from how powerful it is for the spectator. I think that's what a lot of magicians they get lost in this world of I have to do jumping Gemini, I have to do all these crazy things, when really the most simple things are the things that hit the hardest and that they will remember the most. I did Magic for this lady, and she contacted me. She found me like about 8 months later, and she was telling me, she's like, "Oh, can you do that trick where the two aces turn into queens, or the two where my card keeps on coming to the top? That was awesome." And I remember showing her a bunch of technically hard stuff, and I was like, "Oh, I can't believe I pulled this off."
Yeah.
But but I don't know. Like, I think that the more you go out there and perform things, the more you realize that simple hits harder. And on top of that, if you keep doing the same routine everywhere you go, you become better at it, and better and better and better. And pretty soon you can calculate what kind of crowd needs what sort of material that you want to present. So you can't just walk up to anybody with a cookie cutter. Here, pick a card. You know, you can't do that. You have to feel, which is why I talk to all my all the spectators beforehand. You know, just to get to know them a little bit. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Now, speaking of getting better, how long do you practice your magic effects? Like, how long do you practice your effect for a video, or how many hours do you put into magic alone?
I would say a day. Recently, it's been more like maybe right around 3 hours a day.
Wow, it's a lot.
About that. I mean, before it was like a lot more. It fluctuates from time to time depending on what I have on my schedule. But you know, I always have a deck of cards on me. I don't know if that counts, but it's one of those things that you know, if a singer were to continue singing for years and years, she'll develop little tricks and little things that she'll learn along the way with her voice, only because she's put in the time. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. Right. So I'm basically just trying to put in my time. And I realize that, you know, the more time you put into anything, the better you get at it. It's not like you're just born with an ability, unless, you know, it's slam dunking when you're 8 foot tall. Yeah. So yeah, I'm one that appreciates the hard work that I put into things, and you know, and I definitely put in my time with everything that I do until it's at the point where it's completely, you know, clean and ready to go. There'd be times when I would practice an effect for about a half a year before I would display it out to the public.
Really?
Like, for example, I've been practicing the diagonal palm shift for, I don't know, maybe like a year and a half. It hasn't been that long, but I don't do it really in public. I think I do it in one routine. Other than that, I just don't do it. You know, like, it's just one of those things that, you know, if I need to do it someday, then I'll be ready for it. But I'm not gonna push it. You know what I mean? So I stick to all the simple basics, but at the same time, I always switch it up to try to find new things, to see what works, and see if I can get better. You know, show them something different. So yeah. Countless hours, many hours.
That's pretty good. Hey, but you know what? To be honest with you, it definitely pays off. It pays off.
So is that?
The amount of hours you put into your magic, it pays off.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people they think that they kind of, okay, that's it. I learned it. All right, cool. All right, let me go out and perform it. You know,
yeah.
Like, that's not the way it works.
I'm guilty of that, though.
Unless it's a principle, you know, like, that's different. You know, if you already know the mechanics and it's just a principle, like, oh, do this with the card instead of doing that, then you're like, okay, let's go try it. You know.
Yeah.
So I would say that in my first year of magic, every Friday night I wouldn't miss Friday night to go to these workshops, and every Friday night I go to these workshops, and I spent around 6 hours at a time. So for a year straight, I was going to these workshops with musicians and getting to know their style, and you know, learning from them and practicing with them and sessioning and jamming, just like all these different things that you learn only from, you know, by contact experience. You know what I mean? Like surrounding yourself with people who are better than you. Right. So I definitely grasped that from an early start, which is what I think is the strength of, you know, the speed of which I developed things. I've seen a lot of people that have developed pretty quickly, but I think the main source of that speed is from the time you put in and the people who you surround yourself with.